Why are liberals more concerned with the fraud that Elon Musk is finding, the waste in government spending, than those who are actually committing the fraud and wasting our taxpayer dollars to begin with? Why would they be more concerned with the guy who's trying to save the day than the folks that are ruining it? This is something you're hearing quite often from folks on the right. It is a legitimate point to make. Now, yours truly, how do I feel about Elon and what he's doing, all the fraud he's finding? I'm not going to throw him out just yet with the bathwater. For me personally, the jury's still out. There are two reasons why, and I do believe this applies to a hell of a lot of liberals. But the right, for the most part, are in the game hook, line, and sinker. Elon says it, therefore it must be. Find the waste, cut the spending. Good job, Elon Musk. Great appointment by President Trump. Here's why the liberals, in my humble opinion, have a little bit of pushback. There's two primary reasons why folks are kind of pushing back on Elon. Number one, we're going to talk about what I refer to as finding waste versus budgeting based on a conservative ideology. So number one, and this certainly applies with yours truly. Number one question I want to know is, does the actual waste exist as is stated? Elon Musk is finding a whole lot of waste, saving us billions of dollars. That sounds great. Hurrah, hurrah. But at the end of the day, until I see proof, I'm kind of holding out. I'm not one of the ones that are just going to buy on and believe that just because he's a gazillionaire, a billionaire many times over, everything he says is true. And that's what a lot of folks who favor Elon are doing. Why would he lie? He's got tons of money. You know, why would someone with so much money tell a lie? He has nothing to gain. He has all the money in the world, so why would he tell a lie? This is what many on the right are saying, knowing damn well they wouldn't easily just trust Bill Gates or George Soros, who are also triple-digit billionaires with no need to pursue further finances. They wouldn't trust them, so why is Elon getting all of this? So I would talk about that, but in regards to does the waste actually exist? If what Elon Musk is stating that he's finding and the fraud that he's stopping is true, he's doing a really good job by the American people. He should be applauded. But as of now, he hasn't proven any of this stuff. We're going solely based on what he is saying. And for me personally, until I see the evidence, the actual receipts, I'm not going to go ahead and jump up and down and celebrate. You know why I say that? Because some of the things he has stated that he's found, some of the fraud that he's stopped, the information he gave was not true, such as millions of dollars going to purchase condoms for some foreign country. Turns out a whole lot of that was not true. Not to mention the condoms that were being purchased were being distributed out in, I believe, Africa somewhere to help stop the spread of HIV. For him, that's waste. I don't know if everybody would agree with that. That's one of the things he said. He talked about Politico being funded, talked about Reuters, the news agency, receiving a ton of money from USAID. Turns out the Reuters he found out about had nothing to do with the media. It was another company named Reuters in a whole different business. So he gave out basically information that was erroneous, not to mention money going to Gaza. Everybody thought about Gaza in the Middle East. Turns out the Gaza he was talking about was in some other location. So there is already enough information coming from Elon Musk to question whether everything is valid. So that's number one. He's receiving pushback because until we know for certain the fraud and waste he's finding is actually true, I think you should hold the applause. It sounds great, true enough. It absolutely sounds like he's doing right by the American people. Is there anything wrong with waiting till you see evidence and proof that it's actually happening? I'll leave it at that. I just gave you 3 examples of fraud and waste he's already bragged about finding that turned out not to be true. I'm going to assume there is actually more to come. So I'm going to hold and reserve my opinion on Elon until we see evidence of what he's actually presenting. That's the number one reason, is what you're finding actually existing. Number two, I mentioned the difference between waste and budgeting based on conservative ideology. And this is going to require an explanation. Is he really finding waste, or is he actually budgeting based on conservative ideology? Here's an example of waste. A furniture provider that supplies office furniture to a federal building, and they're marking every damn thing up. Everything they sell, from office chairs to desks to everything else, you could go readily to another furniture store as a citizen and buy it for a whole lot cheaper. But because they got federal taxpayer checks coming to them, they marking it up, hoping nobody knows it. That's waste. If he can catch something like that, pointing out that is absolutely waste, that's doing right by the American people. Now, what is budgeting based on conservative ideology? The difference between waste and budgeting based on conservative ideology is going against things you just don't like. It may be waste, but it may just be something you don't like, such as federal dollars going to a vaccine study to determine the effectiveness of booster shots in regards to COVID-19 or something like that. If you don't believe in the vaccine, then studying booster shots and future vaccines in regards to COVID-19 is going to be waste to you. You don't think the vaccines are effective to begin with. Or maybe you believe in herd immunity or something like that. Then that's just waste. To you, that's based on conservative ideology. That's not real waste. The medical community certainly endorses the vaccine and all the booster shots. But a lot of conservatives don't. So now you're not getting rid of genuine waste. You're doing it based on conservative ideology. Another example of true waste. Maybe federal agents are flying around the country, business, first class. There's obviously coach that could be done a hell of a lot cheaper. And when you multiply it by the sheer number of agents taking flights, that's literally going to amount to tens of thousands of dollars that could be saved if they didn't fly business or first class. I'm fine. Cut the waste. That is true, genuine waste. Elon Musk points something out like that. He deserves praise. I would have no problem with that at all. However, when I say budgeting based on conservative ideology, maybe a federal study to determine if any sort of gun laws reduce the amount of people getting shot maybe in major cities. Well, if you're against any type of gun bans or gun laws, that's waste. You can end that study now. I don't believe in gun laws, so any study determining if a gun law works is waste. That's budgeting based on conservative ideology. Let's say Lockheed Martin is charging more to repair F-35s, F-22 aircraft, but we can buy the parts from Boeing for cheaper. Okay, let's switch to Boeing. What we're paying extra to Lockheed is waste. Point something out like that, you deserve praise. That's waste. This is what we hope he's pointing out. But conservative budgeting based on conservative ideology, how about something like, the African-American community or minorities are always talking about the police and mistreating them. So you have a federal study to determine, how many cops pulled over African-Americans in this neighborhood, were they mistreated, what happened with the cases and things like that. If you don't believe police are mistreating minorities, that whole study is bullshit. Get rid of that. That is waste. That's budgeting based on conservative ideology. And we know that would apply to anything that is related to the LGBTQ community, anything DEI related, anything in relation to affirmative action. All of that is considered waste. But that is budgeting on conservative ideology as opposed to actual waste indeed. Are we 100% certain affirmative action is not necessary? 100% certain that DEI is bad? 100% certain that African Americans and minorities are wrong when they say the police are mistreating them? If you have the thought process that it's 100% wrong, that's budgeting based on conservative ideology. So the point I'm trying to make is I need to see more evidence because I believe a lot of things that Elon Musk, and by way of President Trump as well, a lot of things they're getting rid of is just stuff they don't like. I don't think it's all waste. I think some of this stuff is just simply departments, maybe individuals. Like Elon Musk has 9 different companies of his. 9 of Elon Musk companies are being investigated by various federal agencies. If I'm correct, he's targeting all of those agencies. USAID was investigating him. And you see what is happening with USAID. He's tearing it apart. So some of this is not just genuinely the pursuit of waste. Some of this is vengeance. So as I stated, there is a difference between finding waste and doing what's right by the taxpayers, by the American people, versus budgeting with conservative ideology. Budgeting based on how would conservatives think about this? Maybe a study to determine whether children who grew up with Christianity in the household turn out to be better, maybe less crime, maybe go further in life. Now that the Republicans, the conservatives favor Christianity. So that's a study they may get behind. That's what I'm talking about. Budgeting based on conservative ideology. So for me, the jury's still out. I'd love to hear your opinion about Elon Musk. Do you automatically assume everything he is doing is good? Do you even need to see any evidence or proof at all? Or do you simply believe because he's a gazillionaire, everything he's saying is likely true because he has no financial reason to lie? Let me know in the comments. As always, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.